Markiplier has been working on a movie for nearly 3 years, a movie based on a claustrophobic video game where the protagonist is sealed inside a submarine in the post-apocalyptic future after a cosmic event known as the Quiet Rapture occurs, where all planets, stars, and celestial bodies have vanished across the universe, leaving any remaining survivors in a dark universe with very few resources, and the odds of death are nearly certain, with hope slowly being crushed away. It was made by the developers David Zymansky. There, finally got it right. Nearly 4 years ago, and has grown to be quite a popular horror game known for its dreadful atmosphere, claustrophobic environment, and grim, depressing universe. Markiplier played the video game on May 19th, 2022, and he took the end jump scare pretty well.
295 confirmed beautifully.
Years later, it looks like Mark is making a movie. Hello theorists, and welcome back to Investigative Game Speculation, where today I'm going to give you the full timeline and lore breakdown of the Iron Lung video game, and I'm going to explain my theory of what could happen in the Iron Lung film based on the trailer and the game's lore combined, and it's going to be a super epic timeline. So, without any further ado, let's get into a submarine, plunge ourselves into the blood ocean, and let's get started. It would be on October 14th, 2023 that Markiplier would announce he's making an Iron Lung movie when he posted the first official trailer on his YouTube channel, where he is shown saying the lines of the unknown convict at the end where they finally accept their fate. Now, just in case you are in need of a recap of the timeline of the Iron Lung game, basically there are several major organizations such as the Consolidation of Iron, the COI for short, Eden, the Filament Station, and there is a program known as the Conviction Realization. Now, the COI and Eden were both the two major organizations to come out after the Quiet Rapture, with both organizations searching for resources in the Blood Moon, which is an anomaly planet discovered to have a pool of blood and structures, resources, water, iron, as well as deadly creatures underneath, below, within. The COI and Eden fought over a station called the Filament Station, and due to the war, the station was rendered uninhabitable. Eden is a large establishment that boasts on its patriotic superiority from its resources, high population of 468, well, not really high, but high for what was left after the Quiet Rapture, and they are the only organization that has the last remaining trees. So, pretty good stuff if you're considering what happened after the Great Vanishing. Ever since, the COI ran the Conviction Realization, where they took convicts to re-educate them with tasks such as maintenance, repairs, or other works or constructions that benefited the COI. One of these convicts is known as the Unknown Convict, who is the convict before the main protagonist of the game, who was sent to the Blood Moon, which is known as an anomaly, and they are sent into a sealed submarine that is not made for the depths of the blood ocean, causing them to not be able to get out. Their job is to take pictures of the points of interest on the new, interesting anomaly that the organizations have discovered. When the convict first gets inside, there's a voice on the intercom explaining what they are supposed to do and overall, quote-unquote, guiding them. The convict would have to enter in the coordinates in order to navigate the ocean and avoid obstacles as shown on the map, which if they ran into, they would crash and they would die, and the ship would crash. Yeah, you guys knew that already. As they would go on and go to all of the points of interest, they would come across a creature in the ocean, and the ship would often be hit or diverted. All of the pictures on the monitor showed several bizarre sightings that showed no sign of life. The unknown convict would leave a note behind inside. The unknown convict of Iron Lung ultimately says that it was an execution rather than an expedition, but ironically, they would be getting their freedom while the organization would be getting their execution, because they would die on their terms alone rather than living and suffering and hopelessly looking for a sign of life like COI and Eden were attempting to do. Basically, it was only surviving and not really living. That would be unless the unknown convict were to be still alive and out there somewhere and rebelling against the system, because we never actually find out the true fate of the unknown convict. But that would be the previous convict before the main protagonist. The The game goes pretty much the same way for both, except we do not know the fate of the unknown convict, but we do know the fate of the protagonist. Later, as the protagonist would get to the last point of interest, several malfunctions in the ship would occur, such as fires, leaks, and the inside of the submarine submerging with blood. Eventually, the protagonist would decide that their fate was sealed, and there was no way they were coming back. The game would end with the protagonist seemingly getting brutally killed by a fish that enters the ship, and it would be revealed that no photographs were left behind of what happened on the Blood Moon, and that more questions were raised than answers. They would say that somewhere, far in the galaxy, there must still be some hope remaining. Now, that was a lot to take in, but clearly it shows the ruthlessness of the COI, and with a conviction realization, as they are willing to sacrifice, break, and put convicts through immense pain and suffering through the hopes of finding some kind of hope or sign of life deep in the galaxy. So, that is the full game timeline, but now we need to discuss what is going to happen in Markiplier's upcoming Iron Lung film that is about to have a full theatrical release January 30th, 2026. Actually, today, I got up early, super early, to get this all done, so we're just hours away from the movie being released. I think it's necessary to point out how much dedication Markiplier has put into this film, as he has been working on it for 3 years and has even raised blood donations all over the world in a place where you can donate on ironlung.com, link in description. He also, behind the scenes, showed what the submarine was like, and it's actually very impressive what he was able to make on the set. He even had to take a visit to the doctor because he got so much blood in his eyes while in the trailer he had to be submerged in fake blood for the video. Honestly, the Iron Lung video game is kind of like how I am right now. I'm sealed in my closet writing the script for this video, just like how the convict is sealed inside the submarine. Except with me, there's a lot more hope, like a long shot, because the only hope I need is that this video will be out in time, because I'm kind of doing all of this writing and recording and editing at the last minute. Anyways, all notes aside, I think it is important to compare what we see in Mark's trailer to the actual game. In the trailer, we see Markiplier as the unknown convict inside the submarine, and he's clearly just like the unknown convict, as it appears. A man who just wants to live, as he says, and believes everything the COI is doing is in execution. He is struggling to find his purpose in the dark and is desperate to seek understanding. We also see a figure inside the window which appears to be a female figure wearing a COI uniform, and she appears to be corrupted or some kind of entity. That could be the person behind the intercom voice, as we do hear the intercom voice throughout the trailer saying that Eden doesn't understand, and that the convict who Markiplier plays also doesn't understand. Meaning she could be speaking to him through the window and would be against Eden since she was part of the COI and worked against them. However, in the film, since Markiplier seems to be playing the unknown convict, considering he left the note behind, this means he is going to be something else. The film cannot end the same way as the game ends because it is the unknown convict, and we don't know what happens to the unknown convict. We see Markiplier submerged in blood, and my theory is this film is going to show the fate of the unknown convict in its own narrative, and the convict is going to be a rebel of the system, going out to make a change and get their freedom. And also, maybe the original protagonist, original game, will be noticed, or they will be part of the submarine later, and maybe Mark will be of assistance to them. And all of this really just seems like a test, you know, they really don't expect the unknown convict to return, and it's all just this one big, giant, ruthless test that they're going through. Some even say it's purgatory. That could be with how the one place is called Eden, which could possibly represent the Garden of Eden, which I've talked about a different time in this channel when I was talking about Roblox doors. And that is my theory for the Iron Lung film. It is a game of claustrophobia, dystopia, paranoia, and hopelessness. But maybe, just maybe, there is a little star in the middle of the galaxy that offers just a slim, tiny chance of hope. Thanks for checking out today's theory. See you next time.